Now then, this for some people just seems like a complete mystery to how it's done. We can break it down into some really nice bite-sized chunks. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little front wheel lift, little rear wheel lift. And to get that rear wheel lift, I'm simply dropping down and popping back up. So I kind of dip my heel on the way down, spring up from that and bounce up off the pedals. To get extra lift again, I keep the legs coming up into the body, and I've got to be key that I make sure that I'm lifting my legs up into the body at the same speed that the bike's coming up towards me. If I do that too quick, not so much in the clip, but if I was on a flat pedal, I'd come off the pedal. In a clip, I'm going to come unclipped, potentially. Or I'm going to end up tugging on the pedal, and that's going to try and pull the cleat out the bottom of the shoe, and that's not pretty. We're not using the cleat to lift. And in fact, I'll actually do these unclipped, just so you think that, you know, oh, he's cheating, he's lifting up on his pedal. So I'll do these unclipped for you. So it's compressing down and springing up is the way I'm going to do it, but I must lift the legs up into the body to get more height. So overwatch, we're going to do front wheel lift, rear wheel lift, and then you'll see in the sequence after this that I start to stitch it together much quicker, and it's like a little rabbit hopping, and that's how we get into the bunny hop. But the height of your hop is always going to be limited by the height of your manual. As you've had a good chance to see there, we've played some of that back for you in slow-mo. You can see this little front wheel lift, rear wheel lift, and then a rear wheel lift on its own, and I blatantly show you in the clip there that I'm not clipped into my pedal, I'm not lifting up off my pedal. And then in the last sort of sequence, you see those things come together, where in quick succession, I lift the front wheel, I lift the back wheel, and the quicker I can stitch that together, I can perform a little bunny hop. So, what happens then when you want to do bigger bunny hops? Well, you've got to get a bigger manual. So it starts with a manual. I'm loaded up from that manual, and I can spring up off of essentially what is kind of like dipped heels, pulling the bike through or kicking the bike through with the feet. From that point I can spring upwards, punch the bar up and forwards, and then lift the legs up into the torso to get that back wheel up to height. Going on with the bar, it's quite simple. You can hop the bike without being on it by making this shape. If I'm on top of the bike, all I've got to do is lift my weight out of it to get it to come in the air. And that's from driving the bar forwards, I'm lifting the legs up into the body to do so. Okay, so there's a lot of advantages to learning really good technique on the bike. And when that comes to the bunny hop, the advantages are you use a lot less energy to get the bike over features, and it's a safe technique. If you're in that kind of knuckle biting world of currently doing the two-wheel lift together, you're bouncing the bike to get the lift, and all of these shapes are very square this way, and we're actually trying to go forwards that way. We're also expelling a lot of energy to get over the feature in question. There's a potential to create a stall point, and you end up with this like heavy bike dangled off of hyperextended limbs. And if you're on rough terrain, there's a possibility that you actually just push yourself into a hole and you exaggerate a bit of a stall, and that can hang you up and really mess up with the timing, mess up with your speed, and pitch you off the bike. So if I wanted to clear something on the trail, we're just using this stick as our example, but it could be a log, it could be a chunk of rock. Then what we'd have to do is press the bike down, lift it up in the air, travel all this distance with it in the air, and come and land down over here. The limbs are stiff, they're extended, I can't manoeuvre the bike left, right in that scenario. With a manual hop, it's just a simple case of popping that manual, and when that back wheel's about to contact with the feature, springing up and lifting the rear wheel over. It's much more controlled. Now likewise, if I need to move the bike, I can start a bit of turn as I manual, hop and kick the back end over, and I can hop out of awkward situations. We learnt this as kids, riding natural terrain, and you get a rutted up piece of trail and you're on the good ground over here and you've got to get to the good ground over there because you're running out of space, and you've got to hop sideways across it. If you can learn them out in a nice safe environment, here we're playing on one of the forest roads in Maybe, it's really cool. You get the consistency, you can bring a stick in for a bit of timing, you can hop over a puddle, and then you can kind of take that to the trail, and that's what you're going to see in some of these up and coming clips.